Ladies and gentlemen, we are thrilled to welcome you to the Money Magnet Show. Now, this is a show that brings you a lot of business tycoons and people who are making rounds, especially in the business circles. We'll bring a lot of people who are in different industries, and right about now, I'm being thrilled and I'm happy because I'm being joined by one of the most important people, especially when it comes to the tourism industry. And this is no other than Mr. Patson. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
I must say it's a pleasure having you here.
Well, it's the same is for me.
Yeah, sure. Now, talking about, the role that you've been playing, especially in the tourism industry, a lot of people have been seeing you on news representing the Zambia Association of Indigenous Tour Operators. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the association at large?
All right, thank you so much. My name is Dr. Patson Chifumbe. I'm a tour operator. I'm based in Livingston. I've been in this industry as far back, my years start from about 2008.
Wow.
I've been a DMC. A DMC is basically these tourism players that package, the whole country, or rather the whole region in terms of tourism services and packages, activities.
Okay.
But right now, I'm also the president for ZATO. Mm-hmm. ZATO is the Zambian Association of Indigenous Tour Operators. This association was formed in 2017 after several engagement with colleagues, those that are in the industry, and some partners that actually have been helping us. So we saw the need for us to have an association that would probably carry the Zambian people and their views and what they think tourism should be like in this country.
Okay, well, that's wonderful. And I must say, ZATO has been making rounds really, but we would love to know, what are the objectives? What does the firm advocate for?
ZATO is an association of tour operators in Zambia. The idea came about because we thought as a country we needed to own the tourism industry. Mm-hmm. Because if you go back slightly in our history, you realize that we've been talking about tourism without really being part of the players as Zambians. Mm-hmm. Most of the tourism activities or companies have been like foreign investors.
Okay.
And the only thing we can say about that was we could only be proud of having the natural resources, mm-hmm. but we were not players in the industry. Basically, we were not making money as Zambians. The money was being made by people that were coming to this country from other places. Okay. So we were not very happy with that, and we thought probably if we can come up as a team, as tour operators in Zambia, we could share the little knowledge that we have with the others that may have the resources to invest in the industry and be part of the players and own the industry and start bringing the money to this country. Okay. So basically, in a nutshell, that is basically what I can say for now.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Now, for me, I feel like also the information is a little bit new to me, okay. Because, most of the Zambians, they know that the tourism industry, actually, it has been in the hands of the Zambian. But how has it been running like that these years? And is it possible that we can have examples, especially, of things that we think they are owned by Zambians? Usually, they are not owned by Zambians.
Originally, what we're talking about, you're talking about the national parks. You're talking about all these prime spots in terms of location, mm-hmm. the riverbanks and so on. If you look at what is there right now, the ownership, none of those are owned by Zambians. If you go in most of these parks, you find they're all foreign people that are found in those spaces. Zambians have basically been players as employees, workers. Mm-hmm. So it's basically hand to mouth. Okay. You cannot build an individual and make them be a stakeholder in such a way if they're only employers, or rather if they're only employees. They need to be employers, and they can only be employers if they begin to own some of these investments, the properties, and probably owning the companies that are offering the activities. That is something that we think can change the picture of what we seem to be concerned about.
Okay, so for me, looking at the experience that you guys have been, that you have, and also that the role that you've been playing, especially, in advocating for these issues, what is really the problem? Is it the Zambians, they don't have resources to own those lands, or maybe it's because we are selling the lands to people we think, they can be able to manage those stuff?
It's from the very start. I think the Zambians actually didn't know that the tourism industry is such a big industry and they can make a living out of it.
Okay.
So some of them actually did have the land and so on, but they sold it out.
Oh yeah.
It's lack of education probably, and the industry probably came very late to this country. By the time we're becoming very active in the industry, the other countries are already gone ahead of us.
Yeah.
So you realize that if you look at the investment that is in this country, is coming from South Africa. South Africa was already ahead. So the players that were there, when they looked at Zambia, they saw the resources, but there was no one who was doing business. So they came in and started offering those services, started putting up those properties. But the Zambians themselves were not aware of it, or didn't know that they can actually make a serious, business out of it. But with time, most of us that you see today as the DMCs, we were actually working for these foreign investors. Okay. But we've realized now, but why are we working when we can do it? It's because it's within our borders. We are Zambians and we know this country better and we know the resources that we have. True. So why can't we have companies that can offer the services?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's good information right there. But how has the Zambians received the initiative? Have they welcomed it, especially in the long run, the way you've been working? What is the response from people?
The response is good. However, it also needs to probably improve, because as far as I'm concerned, most of us are in just one sector. Okay. We are just in the DMCs. The DMCs are the guys that package. Basically, they offer transport services. They pick all these activities and put them together and sell them to a potential client, and they sell it like that. We don't own anything. Right now, I'm a DMC. I don't own anything, but I'm so informed about what is available here, so I'm able to pick whatever is around there, bring them to what would probably call a one-stop shop. Okay. I sell that, but I don't own anything. So what we are trying to say now is we want to own these things, because that's where the biggest influence is. Where we are, we don't influence much. True. Because we don't own anything. The pricing, we don't influence it because it is set up by the owners of the activities and the owners of the properties. Right now, I have to work with their prices. I have nothing to do with how those prices are put up. So the only way I can get to that level of influencing the prices is for me to own something, to own one of those activities, own one of those properties. Then I can take charge and probably give direction to what should be happening in the country.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a good one. And also, there has been a concern from the public, especially when you talk about, these prizes that comes with these tourism packages, because there was an issue, one brought out, talking about, when we talk about game drives, sometimes the packages, they're just, constantly like that, they're international. But do you think of creating, packages that will also cater for the people who live in that place? Because there are people who have lived here for many years, they have never gone for a game drive because of the prizes. Is there any way that you are thinking of creating prizes that will also match with the people who are living in the land?
Of course, we currently as ZATO and even a few others, we have those considerations. Okay. If you inquire, your nationality will come into play. So we have both international rates and the local rates. Okay. However, one thing that you also need to know, like I'm saying, as DMCs, we don't determine the price as such. But of course, I can put a price. If I were to take you in the pack, the price that I'll give you includes government fees. Oh, I see. So the government has already a fee that is static, which I need to work with. So I have to just add on something on top there. Then we have the operational costs. We have all these things because I'm working with people, the guides, the vehicles, the fuels, and so on. This is what eventually helps me to compute what price to put. So people may complain that the prices are high, maybe sometimes because they don't inquire in advance. Because if if you make an inquiry that you're a Zambian, you'll be given the price for a local rate. You'll be given a local rate for a Zambian. So those are there.
Okay.
We have them. Yes. The complaint may still be that they're probably high, but it's the nature of the products.
True.
They don't come cheap.
Okay. Yeah, no, thank you very much for that information. Now, as we are wrapping up the show, when we talk about ZATO, especially on the things that you've been doing, what are some of the, the highlights of your success? And also, maybe you can say there are also some drawbacks. We can say you've always succeeded in your plans, but there are also those things that have, brought you down, and how can you do them better?
Because of our various experiences in terms of what we do, those that are in accommodation, those are in transport, those are in activities, we have a blended kind of team where we have all these guys. One of the things that has happened is we know what tourism is now as Zambians, and we know what we should do.
True.
That has helped a lot. So in terms of our experience, we are now able to influence even policy. We are able to tell the government what we think should happen.
True.
We've been consulted. Every now and then I can actually get to that point to say our government has realized that we have so much knowledge, and they are consulting us. There are certain engagements that where they invite us. They want us to be there and give an input, because what we know is of value to this country. Our priority is basically to make sure that Zambia as a country also makes money out of the industry, because one of the things that may actually go wrong is just marketing this tourism, and the country as a whole, the treasury for this country is not collecting anything from tourism. That is the scenario that we seem to have.
Okay.
We can do better. We are not there yet. That is one of the things in terms of policy, but we are beginning to reach out. One of the places that we've managed to touch now is Zambia. Zambia is getting to where we are in terms of knowledge. We are sharing everything that we know, we are sharing them. We are lobbying for trainings here and there, and we are sharing those training opportunities with them. We just recently had, for the first time, the Zambia people being trained in guiding.
Wow.
It is just like last week when we sent someone there from Holland to go and train a group of people in Zambia, and they are up to there. So in the next coming 2 weeks or so, we have an online training by some expert from Holland, and it's for our people, because we want them to be visible. Because one of the things that is a challenge for this country is we lack visibility on the international platform.
True.
And that is not because of anything, probably because of lack of knowledge on how to generate the content and how to optimize it so that it can touch all the necessary, destinations that, like the source markets that these clients are coming from. That was a privy thing. It was just something that was like, it was a preserve for the foreign investors, because they came with the knowledge and they knew what to do.
Yeah,
we didn't know. So we are beginning to share this information as ZATO with everybody that is out there. And just to conclude, we are also more inclined on the cultural tourism, because it's the only thing that is unique to us.
Yeah.
Every country is unique in a way, but culture is what really separates us all. Because you can talk about safari. Safari is like universal. You start from South Africa up all the way to the North Africa. There's safari. So what would make Zambia such an attractive destination as a unique destination is our culture.
True.
So this is something that we're beginning to look into, and we're pushing very hard. This is why we're trying to broaden the tourism space in this country, because we don't want to concentrate on just the Victoria Falls. We want whatever else is attractive elsewhere in this country, it should be captured, and it should be brought to the table, because you never know what your tourists are interested in. Some of them may not be actually interested in the falls. They'll be interested in your culture. When you're talking about culture, you're talking about your traditions, your food, the way you live generally. So those are some of the things that we're beginning to work on, and I think we are doing very well.
It's really a great initiative. Yeah, I know time is not our best ally, especially when we talk about these issues. Do you have like any last words for people who are watching us there?
Yeah, basically what we'd love to see is we need to come together as a country, government departments, agencies, and so on. We need to work. We shouldn't work as individuals. That is one of the biggest problems that we have as a country. We seem to be working independently, but that is not helping us. If we came together, we're able to contribute to one pot, and this pot can really lift up this country. What I know may be something of value. Someone else may know something of value. So if we bring all these things together to one big pot, this country can do better, because in terms of resources, definitely we seem to have more. As far as I'm concerned, we have more than most of these countries have.
Yeah.
When talking about safaris, you know how many national parks we have in this country. Some countries only have probably 2. We have 20 plus.
Wow.
You know, waterfalls, see what we have. We have more than enough. No one else can brag about waterfalls. We have more waterfalls than anybody else. There's a recent book that came out recently which talks about Zambia having 400 waterfalls.
Wow.
People probably know only a few, but there are several of them because we haven't explored and we haven't taken advantage, because these resources is what tourism is. So we need to sell each and every one of them. Okay. We have so much in this country.
Yeah, but do you think there's a gap in the tourism industry? Do you think people are utilizing in marketing, these stuffs?
It's unfortunate, the approach that we have. I think for me, if we were to do something about it, there's something that needs to change in terms of how we're marketing this country. We think it's important to go outside to market. I think the best way to market is to bring people in the country.
True.
Let's start having events like the tourism show that we used to have some years back, which has somehow gone quiet. Because when it brings agents here, you are able to take them around to see what is there. There's a difference between being told and seeing for yourself.
True.
So it will have more impact if these agents come, they see what we have, they go out with their own narration. We don't have to tell them things that probably we may not even do that much justice to the story. But if they came themselves and saw what we have, they'll be able to sell this country very well. So I think that is one area that we need to work on very hard. We need to start bringing agents to this country and have that tourism show. The Zambia tourism show, I think it had a name, something like the ZATEX, Zambian Tourism Expo.
Okay.
Unfortunately for me, that name also is not very good for me. Yes. So that is probably that we need to work on right now. We need to start bringing people to come and see what we have in this country. We should host them.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
No, I think that one is very important, and I think it's cardinal information that as Zambians we also really need to have. Like I said, time is not our best ally, and I've seen our producer is giving us signals. Yeah, I think thank you for having you.
We're so happy. I'm glad you gave me this opportunity to come and just share a few of what we have.
Yeah, sure. No, for me, I hope to have you here again so that we finish the conversation. Anytime, I'm available. Yeah, sure. No, thank you very much. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, on the Money Magnet Show. I was with Mr. Patson. We are talking about, the Zambian to indigenous tourism operators, how it works. In general, we are talking about ZATO. For me to you, it's goodbye and see you next time.